Yo, what up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Pnoid News. Man, listen, how y'all doing today? I'll tell you what, me and my boy General here, right, we're going
Hi.
to discuss some stuff as like him being like a former libertarian. Well, like he wants to be a libertarian, but like I have like, you know what I mean, like transferred him into being a communitarian because he thinks there's a better way.
You're technically right, Pnoid. And technically right is the best type of right.
Yo, I fucking feel you. That's kind of where my mentality is. You know what I mean? So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna stand here and I'm gonna motherfucking like play this video and he's gonna tell me to pause it and we're gonna stop and we're gonna discuss things. And you know what I mean, we're gonna have a conversation about this type of shit. All right? That's cool with y'all. We're gonna get it done. Let's get into the motherfucking video.
It is kind of crazy and arbitrary and inefficient if the government's standing at the border putting tariffs on Chinese TVs or whatever. But likewise, if people, if labor wants to come in, just like consumer goods or capital goods want to come in, then why would the government interfere with it? How could politicians get involved, possibly improve things? And then there had been a series of papers and speeches and whatnot in the intervening years, including from such luminaries in our branch of the woods, Rothbard and Hoppe and so forth, saying actually, on second thought, it's not obvious that if you're for free trade, you reflexively should be for open borders either, and here's why. And so Dave's taken that stance, and I'll give you in a second, Dave, a chance to explain your own evolution of your views. But once Dave's done doing that, I am going to just like put his framework through the wind tunnel.
Well, that's what I wanted. That's why I was excited to do this, and I've been looking forward to this because you're somebody who I consider to be much smarter than me, and I know that I think you're kind of the perfect person to do this because I think that you don't exactly agree with everything I'm saying, but I also think that you've kind of seen that there's like a little bit of a point to what I'm making, and seen that there's a little bit of a flaw to a lot of the counter arguments that you get from libertarians. And so anyway, I was like, yeah, let's do that. And if I'm getting something wrong, then I'd like that to be exposed. But I think like I've read my Rothbard and Hoppe and stuff, and I think I'm on solid ground.
Right. And at the very least, for sure, what I'll say is, I think I joked to you, Dave, about, privately when I was seeing all the stuff that you were enduring, and I was saying something like, this is like how I started out not liking Trump, and then I saw what everyone did to him, and then I ended up rooting for him. It was kind of like that, where in the beginning, obviously I thought your views were more defensible than a lot of what Trump said. But just seeing like everyone, oh, so Dave's a Nazi now. That's cool, and just mischaracterizing. So anyway, we'll get into all that stuff, folks. But I just wanted to be clear up front. What's funny, Dave, I don't know if you saw it, but right as we were getting, it literally dropped today. Somebody dug up a book review I had written for Mises.org back in 2006, in which somebody was in, I think Liberty Magazine I think the guy's name was Cox, but I'm not certain about that. He was challenging the standard, libertarian case for open borders and making some point, and I was ripping the guy. Like, so at that point, I don't know if I called myself a supporter of open borders, but I definitely was not happy with whatever his article was or something, or his book was.
Bro, can you pause?
So anyway, it was kind of funny that
so far, I don't see anything wrong with this. I mean, like the guy on the left, he's literally saying that libertarians should not be pro-open borders. I mean, that's just, as far as I can tell, that makes sense. I see nothing to disagree with. Like to some extent, like, why are we even watching this video? I just agree with everything that's been said. Where's the interesting bits?
Well, I mean, like, listen, we're not here to like stand here and like try to like do the controversial thing. You know what I'm saying?
Are we here to just listen to this video? Because the video already exists.
Well, no, we're here to like react to the video, right? So like the thing is with libertarians is that like inside of their shit, they have like two different people who like, ones are like, hey, look, they're like open borders, and the other ones are like, hey, look, let's not be open borders. But ultimately, like, all of them are open borders people because they all want to live in Anarcho-capitalist, where there is no borders and they're just corporate control over everything.
That would be the international libertarians, but they're different than the national libertarians.
No. All libertarians are fucking Anarcho-capitalists.
That's not true. I'm an example of. I mean, I guess that you and I can agree that I'm more of a communitarian, I guess. But there are nationalist libertarians, and they are based, and they are very different than the international libertarians that, of course, are the Ancapistanis that I think are probably they should be scrutinized further, of course. But there's two different factions here, man. You got the just like you have like the socialists. You know, you got the national socialists, and then you got the international socialists, right? In the same way, you have the national libertarians and the international libertarians.
Well,
and
the national socialists, right? The national socialists are called fascist, right?
Yeah, but they are national socialists, right?
So, but they're called fascist.
Yeah, I mean that's what we call them, but they are basically socialists that are nationalists. I mean, also everybody knows that.
Yeah, but you can't be a socialist and be a fucking nationalist, right? Because like being a socialist and being a nationalist, right? Means that like you're
this basically it's almost the same thing, like being a socialist and a nationalist, because a socialist is someone who supports the government, right? So like a national socialist, that kind of makes sense. I guess an international socialist is one who wants their government to expand beyond their borders and make everyone lick the boot of their own government. I mean, socialism is terrible. Everybody knows that. But all right, you want to just keep playing the video?
Yeah, I mean, like, but like, here's the thing about the nationalist socialist, right? So, like, there isn't really actually a thing called nationalist socialist, right? It's like not really a fucking real thing, right? So, like, almost all socialists believe that, like, the reasons why they're socialist is because of the fact that they want to stand here and have fucking like they want to have socialism because all men around the world and all women, all people around the world have rights. You know what I'm saying? And have the rights to certain things and certain like fucking, you know what I mean, like material goods as a whole, right? And that's kind of like the entire point of like their socialist beliefs.
Socialism doesn't have to do with material goods. Socialism has to do with who owns the means of production. Socialism states that the government ought to own the means of production. And that's a very dangerous thing to do. I think that's probably like that. In my belief structure, that's like one of the dumbest things that mankind could possibly do, and you should probably avoid that. But that is what socialism is, and it does tend to take over. And you have examples of national socialism, which we can call fascism, but I mean, really, that's just for example, in Nazi Germany. Where they wanted to socialize the populace. They wanted the government to have full control over their populace, but also have borders, which means that they end up having to, I guess, place, I guess, like their own people, their own whatever, above other people, because fuck yeah, we are the empire, we are strong, and that's cool. You know, I guess that's a thing that you can do. You can also become an international socialist, where you say, look, the government should control all of the things, but also we need to expand the scope of the government and make everybody part of our government. That's more like Soviet Union style, Stalinist, right? I mean, obviously, like Trotsky, Lenin, these were more national socialist. But Stalin was a full-blown international socialist, and of course there are so many dangers with international socialism. And I mean, although I'm not in favor of the Vietnam War, it almost makes sense that America was trying to keep that bullshit from spreading, because that shit is evil. But when it comes to libertarianism, we have the national and the international libertarians. I think that the international libertarians are basically a result of the stock market. They want to make GDP go up, and how do you make GDP go up? Well, if you open up borders, then GDP will go up, and what that will do is it will make GDP go up. I think almost guaranteed. It will also make everybody worse off. It will make everybody poorer. It'll make the quality of man's life to be worse. It's a bad idea if you're an individual, but it's a great idea if you're a CEO or someone who just benefits from a GDP number going up. That's international libertarianism. But what we also have is this concept of national libertarianism. This is the idea that actually, I mean, theoretically, you have a government. Hopefully, it's a small government, but you have a government, and it's contained within the borders of your own nation. Cool. And within our own borders, you generally speaking leave people the fuck alone, and fuck off. We're full. You don't get to enter. You don't get to enter our nation. This is national libertarianism, and this has many parallels to something that you talk a lot about, which is communitarianism. These are very similar ideas. There are some differences between the two. I can accept that, but these are very similar concepts, and I believe that there is no reason to have really any sort of fighting between communitarians and national libertarians, because there are way bigger fishes to fry. There are much greater enemies that we have to take down, like socialism, for instance. The socialists, fuck the socialists. These are the enemies that we all have. But yes, of course, we can have our squabbles between the national libertarians and the communitarians, and we can fight it out. It's fine to fight it out, but yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Pnoid. I've been talking for too long.
Man. Listen, I was letting you get your thought out. I have no problem with it. Yeah, listen, that's the whole point of content, is to allow you to have your fucking opportunity to get your fucking thoughts out. So we're gonna keep going. I fast forwarded to like why the scenario is second best. And this will basically break down like the reason why it is. I say like everybody in the Libertarian Party has the same basic platform ideas, right? Of international fucking like libertarians. So like I'm gonna hit play on this, and then we're gonna go.
Is it me? So before we dive into the particulars, though, let me ask you this, Dave. Why do we even care? Like, we're all in this conversation. We're taking it at the outset. The ideal world would be one where every piece of real estate is owned by private individual, a person or a group of individuals, a corporation or something. And then everybody, there's no such thing as immigration policy. Just everyone sets whatever rules they want for who can come onto their land. And then, so why don't we just stick to that and just say, nope, that's the ideal. And you ask me what should be done, that should be done. End of story. I can't control politicians. Once we start getting into try to micromanaging them, that's like saying, well, given that Israel's going to be bombing Gaza, should they target schools versus hospitals? And I don't even want to participate in that discussion. There's no right answer. Or the Soviet Union, given that they're going to have grocery stores.
What'd you say?
Oh, I was just saying schools are a softer target. Go ahead.
Centrally planned, how many should be in Moscow? I'm not going to even get into that discussion because there's no right answer. That's stupid. So why are we talking about immigration policy?
So why talk about like what's second best
yes.
to our ideal? Because I agree with you that our ideal is that we'd be in Anarcho-capitalist and that there's no such thing as immigration. It would just be moving, it would just be moving the same way we move within the United States of America, but with less red tape. So I guess I would say that, first of all, libertarians have always, and all of us, always talk about what's second best, constantly. If you read Murray Rothbard's political writing, it's riddled with what's second best or third best or fourth best. Mm-hmm. Ron Paul, almost everything, I shouldn't say that, but so much of what Ron Paul would talk about was always what's second best. I mean, cutting federal spending is second best, and the gold standard is second best, and auditing the Federal Reserve is second best. And I mean, you, Bob, you talk a lot about secession and Texit, but that's not what you really want. What you want is Anarcho-capitalist, but why are you talking about this? Because, well, okay, it's more feasible that it could possibly happen, and it's a possible path toward what might ultimately be better than that. And, you know, it's like there's this thing that libertarians do a lot, some libertarians do a lot, that just drives me crazy, but it'll be like, if you're talking about, hey, I think there should be a two-state solution in between Israel and Palestine. And then some, like, you know, year one libertarian will go, well, I think there should be a zero-state solution. And it's like, yeah, me too, but like, it's just not on the table right now.
A zero-state solution.
Well,
That
because
sounds
like
cool.
they don't believe in states, right? They don't think that there should ever be like a nation or a state or a government.
I mean, I don't. I
fucking I'm telling you.
Here's I think that there's a very simple position on this. America is going to do American shit. I think that we should annex Canada. Probably not Mexico, too different. But I think that we should annex Canada, and I think that America should control basically you know, North America. I don't see anything wrong with America controlling North America, and everybody else can fuck off. I don't even know why it is that we're talking about the Ukraine versus Russia war, or the Israel versus Palestine conflict. I mean, fundamentally, I don't even give a shit about Taiwan. At least, I mean, for the time being, I think that we have to, because we have unfortunately based so much of our industry off of Taiwan that we are in a position where we have to give a shit about Taiwan. But I don't want to be in a position where we have to care about Taiwan. I think that seems like a mistake to base so much of our industry in a country that is fundamentally in question. I don't know why the fuck we did that, but we did it because we're humans and we do human shit. But what we should really be talking about is how do we make America better? How do we improve America? How do we improve the lives of the lives of our own citizens? You know, that's the shit that we should be focused on. But for some reason, we're all collectively caring about what? The Israel-Palestine war? Who the fuck? Why is it that so many people are putting so many thoughts into the Israel-Palestine war, when actually I personally don't know that many people who are Israeli or Palestine. So many people give so many shits about this conflict, and yet it doesn't affect their lives. It doesn't matter to them. Why? We should be focused on America. That has to be like the most important thing that we can possibly be doing. But we're not.
Well, listen. Did you hear what he said though?
I mean, it just sounds like some like they're talking about international libertarian shit. Like that's not.
That's what libertarianism is an international movement, bro. It's a movement of like not having governments or both. They're all ANCAPs.
The minute that I hear some shit about international libertarianism, what you would call ANCAP, is the minute that my brain just shuts off. Like, I'm just like, okay, yeah, you have ideas, you have cool ideas, but they don't like have any effect on, like, you know, reality. These are just silly human ideas. I mean, you can keep playing the video, man, but like, my brain shut off the minute that they went into international libertarianism. I mean, that's insane shit.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, yo, this is the problem with like libertarianism. This is what I be trying to tell you about libertarians, bro. Like, they literally they don't believe in like borders or nations or governments or states.
Well, I mean, it is. I think that anarcho-capitalism is like pretty fucking nuts. It doesn't make sense, right? Because actually, there's a really simple reason why it doesn't make sense. The minute that you dissolve the government and have corporations in control of everything, or companies, however you want to say it, is the minute that one of those corporations and or companies will become the new government, because you have a power vacuum, and like anarcho-capitalism can't solve anything, basically, because everybody knows this. Like, this isn't a secret. The minute that you dissolve the government, someone else will take the place of the government, because we all know that basically the government is just a cartel. And what happens when you defeat the big cartel? A new cartel enters. It makes sense.
No, it's because humans are sheep and they need leaders. They need fucking shepherds. It's that simple, bro. This is how the fuck shit operates. I don't know why it is that this is difficult for everybody. Humans are sheep. They're cows.
Well, no. I mean, most people are cattle, but I believe that there is a segment of humanity who is not cattle. I do believe that most human beings have probably been
here's the thing, like, so
but
no one wants to be responsible for like the day-to-day operations of having to, like, you know, fix fucking roads. You know what I'm saying? And having to, like, you know, they're gonna offload that to somebody. They don't want to have to worry about.
Gotta get some asshole to do it.
Yeah, right. So they're gonna form a fucking government to do it.
Which, by the way, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It makes sense that, like, let's say that you have a community, and you know, the roads in your community are currently, you know, filled with potholes and they suck. It makes sense that within your community you have somebody who goes around and fixes the roads, and that person should be properly compensated for his efforts, because everybody relies on the roads.
Yeah, I mean, like, so, like, if all your community sewage, like, if a sewer pipe breaks, like, going through one of your neighbor's yards or whatever it is, and, like, his yard's filling up with sewage, and it's everybody's fault, like, we should all compensate that dude and fix his fucking problem. You know what I mean? Because that's what you do in a fucking community.
That is what you do in a community. Yes, I agree. Which, by the way, is something that also exists in national libertarianism. I think that this Dave Smith guy, he seems like he might be more of an international libertarian, which is a fucking insane ideology that I denounce.
No, like, he is one of the most sane libertarians, because, like, he's like going, look, I understand what we all want is international libertarianism, but, like, we need to discuss, like, what we have now, right? And deal with the government that we have today, because that's reality.
That's a piece of shit premise. Why the fuck would we ever want international libertarianism? That can only result in bad things.
Yo, because, like, they're fucking children. You know what I'm saying? Like, these fucking human beings are children, and they think that the non-aggression principle, which we're going to mention here in a minute, is, like, literally the top end of shit. You know what I mean?
Can you actually imagine, like, unironically believing in the non-aggression principle? Can you imagine that? That's nuts.
Yeah. Listen, I used to listen to Stefan Molyneux, bro. I used to. You know what I mean? Like, not like I don't know. Like,
me too, man. Me too.
Yo, look, bro,
and that guy was fucking nuts. He basically, Stefan Molyneux constructed reality off of the NAP. And that was nuts, because the NAP doesn't make any sense. It's not, the NAP is one of the most rickety foundations that you could possibly try to build something off of. It's so, the non-aggression principle is so fucking rickety. Why the fuck would you ever try to build something off of that? That's nuts to me.
I fucking agree. Listen, I'm gonna keep playing this video a little bit.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, let's rock.
Now that tomorrow everybody in Palestine and Israel is going to wake up and be like, we understand that a stateless, private property-based society is the way to go. And look, it's still pretty far that we're going to have a two-state solution, but that has at least been on the table. Like, the UN partition plan did recommend that, and the Oslo Accords were kind of based off that. In Camp David, they at least discussed that. So it's at least like, okay, but this would be better than, you know, the status quo. And I think that in general, when it comes, like, look, I don't think that if a libertarian is just saying, we need to privatize everything, we need to not have a state, and I'm not going to, like, really pick a beef with that person. The point is that there's a lot of libertarians out there who are arguing that everything being the same, an open border would be better than what we have now. And so if that's your point, or everything being the same, no restrictions on private property and homeless people should be allowed to live on the public streets or something like that, if that's what you're saying, I'm saying I don't think that's the correct libertarian argument. And the reason I care about this, the reason why I think this is a fight worth having, or a discussion worth having, is
what's the fight?
Sure, yeah, you're probably right about that. But look, I'm a Ron Paulian in the sense that I believe in spreading the message and convincing other people to
this seems like
to
a cult.
consider, libertarianism. Now, there are.
What up?
It seems like I was just saying. This seems like a fucking cult. The minute that someone says spreading the message, that sounds like a cult, like a cult to me. But you can keep playing. I was just saying that.
All right, you're good. You're good, man. Listen, I want to get your words in. Keep going.
There are libertarians who don't agree with that. But that's a whole different debate that we could have. But I do believe in like speaking to the remnant, trying to persuade as many people as possible. That's kind of what I do. I'm not like you have expertise in economics, and we have lots of other guys. We have Scott Horton who has expertise in foreign policy, and we have lots of people who have real expertise in different areas. I don't have any of that. The only thing in the libertarian world that I could claim any level of expertise in is how to present libertarianism in a compelling way that makes people think, oh, that's a really good point. And right now, okay, so the only way to do that, from my perspective, is not just to talk about abstract theory. It's great. I love talking about abstract theory. That's what I want to talk to you about. I'm one of us. Like, we all love this stuff.
Weird.
But if you think about like why Ron Paul, who, objectively, I think has done a better job than anybody certainly in my lifetime at getting people interested in these ideas. And when Ron Paul was up on the debates in 2008 and in 2012, he didn't get up there and say, hey, everybody, I have this theory called the non-aggression principle, and I think it's morally illegitimate to initiate violence against peaceful people. And then everyone was like, whoa, that just blew my mind. That's not how it happens. What he did.
Yo, it's so dumb, right?
Imagine actually believing that shit. That's nuts. It's funny though. It is funny.
Yo, listen, bro. Like I told you, like this is why I wanted to watch this video with you, because I know, like, yo, you have feelings about this shit. You know what I mean? Yo, we're gonna keep going.
It was he talked about the crises that were facing the nation and explained them to people and said, okay, you know how the economy just collapsed? Well, this is why. And oh, by the way, he predicted that the economy was going to collapse for the exact reasons that it did. And he talked about why 9/11 happened. And oh, by the way, he predicted that for the exact reason. You know what I mean? And then he explained why the war in Iraq was a disaster. And it kind of like had such a knowledge of history and understanding what the cause to the current crisis was and what the solution was. And that's what libertarians need to do if they're going to effectively spread this message. And right now, we have a major crisis.
And look at this guy.
I see it as all kind of like.
Look at this guy saying what libertarians need to do. How the fuck telling libertarians to do shit is like herding cats. You can't. The entire idea of like saying libertarians need to do something like on its face is an insane idea. You can't get libertarians to do anything. Why the fuck would you even try? I mean,
Yo, it's like, bro, like, listen, like the whole point of libertarianism is to be like a radical individual and not follow any leaders.
Yeah, why does the Libertarian Party actually have a political party?
So
like there's a reason, I think, why it is that the Libertarian Party sucks so hard. It's because you can't build a party out of a whole bunch of people who want to disassociate with other people. That's not a thing that you can build. It might be a cool idea, but you can't build anything off of that. You can't. It's you have too rickety of a foundation. It's like the NAP. You can't build anything off of this. Meanwhile, I do hate to say this, and I don't want to say this, but to